Hello everyone, my name is Destin Shadows, and today we will be doing a pre-release review and analysis of the Etoile class. In this video, please keep in mind the following information. This is merely theory and subjective thoughts on a class currently not released yet, and the details currently in regards to class skills are subject to change before final release. This video, as a result, is mainly to help you get a general idea of what to expect from the class while being as flexible as possible with how you want to build Etoile. There will be a proper analysis and review video of Etoile in the future once the class is released. As such, the information presented today may not be present in said future video. So let's go over the details while I show some images and video footage in the background. Etoile uses double sabers, dual blades, and wands in combat. The overall theme of the class is the use of bladed weapons and the concept of blades to parry, guard, and assault foes. Etoile seems to play similarly to a paladin from traditional RPGs, acting as an off-tank with extra support skills and abilities to aid allies in dealing more damage in ways different from how Tekker supports the party. It's important to note, despite the class using wands, Etoile unfortunately cannot use techniques, so despite Etoile having support skills, it will not be able to use the standard buff techniques like Shifta, Deband, or even Resta to support itself or its allies. This makes 4-player team composition quite important, as you can either have a more dedicated support role in the form of a Tekker, or have a unique enabler and semi-tank in the form of Etoile. You could also have both, but we don't know how effective Etoile is as a damage dealer yet, so do keep in mind that Etoile may not be the best for dealing damage in the future. The first weapon, Double Saber, is described as the standard Etoile weapon for aerial combat and has a deflect weapon action, allowing the weapon to create unique counters and attack opportunities against enemies. You can guard while moving in any direction, similar to the weapon action of Jet Boots, and if you conduct a successful guard, there's opportunities for performing an extra attack towards enemies. You gain Double Saber gear by attacking enemies, and whenever you are hit, your gear is consumed to reduce the damage received. Another unique aspect to Etoile Double Sabers is the skip PAs. From how it has been described, if you don't move in any direction when you activate a PA, such as pushing on the analog stick, you can skip the first half of the PA and go straight to the latter half. There is a separate skill for this which I will talk about and describe later, but for now, I will talk about the PAs. The first PA for Double Sabers is Absolute Quasar, a fast, gap-closing attack that unleashes a series of close-range slashes for the first half with a huge horizontal slash for the latter part of the PA. The second PA is Saber Destruction. Based on the Blade Destruction photon art from Phantasy Star Portable 2, this PA surrounds you in horizontal and vertical blades, before unleashing a powerful vertical strike down at the enemy during the latter part of the PA. The third PA is Shooting Star, a single target attack that swipes in front before unleashing a unique Grant's type of attack for long-range damage, moving you back in the process. The last PA is Celestial Collide, a downward kick that can be repeated with proper just attack timings, and then ends off with a powerful frontal spear shot forward. Now, onto dual blades. Their weapon action Parry summons a shield around the user, and upon a successful parry, fires a sword back at the enemy to deal damage. They build gear very similarly to Double Saber, but the weapon gear is utilized for special attacks called edges. An edge is basically an external projectile spawned during a photon art to deal extra damage, like the photon blades from Bouncer dual blades. However, if you dodge or interrupt your PA after the point the edge spawns, the edge will continue to conduct the action of the PA even though the user isn't casting it. Some edges from the PAs actually track onto enemies, but do note they do not help with building gear. Dual blades also have a connect function which utilizes weapon gear. After a certain PA or attack is used, you can unleash a series of attacks before combining your dual blades to unleash a heavy uppercut with a combined sword. The first PA is Distortion Pierce, which unleashes a short, piercing stab from the dual blades before summoning edges to slice enemies horizontally. The second PA is Radiant Sting, acting as a gap closer by knocking down the enemy and unleashing a flurry of strikes. The edge blades seem to spawn during the flurry combo, so take that into account. The third PA is Vertical Flow, a heavy downward slash that brings you down to the ground while summoning edges in the air to track and pierce the target afterwards. The last PA is Light Wave, shooting blades of light from the dual blade before firing off edges at the locked-on target. The last weapon for Etoile, Wand, accumulates gear when attacking enemies, moving, or just guarding. The weapon action for Wand is Protect. It is basically a shield around you that can be extended by consuming your gear gauge. You can also use your weapon action to perform unique attacks based on your gear gauge, with the basic weapon action attack allowing you to shoot a long-range projectile at targets, in higher gears allowing other special attacks to occur at the cost of more gear being consumed, including a powerful AoE burst. The other major mechanic to Wand is the use of focus PAs. These PAs operate similarly to Phantom PAs, where you can activate your weapon action to perform a different version of the same PA. But these focus PAs are activated during the PA action rather than before. Focus PAs reduce the area of effect of the PA, but lets you focus on attacking a single enemy for massive amounts of damage or other unique effects. In a sense, the PAs for Wand allow you to choose between either single targets or wide area attacks, depending on the situation and enemies faced. The first PA is Prism Circular, a unique PA that covers you in a light sphere and increases your movement while holding the PA button, before firing off a sphere of light at the enemies. The focus version removes the sphere fired off and replaces it with a powerful frontal slash. The second PA is Glitter Strip, launching the user up in the air to fire off mini light bullets at the enemies. The focus version narrows the bullets into a single target before exploding. The third PA is Black Hole Rupture, which fires off a black hole at the target and explodes to deal AoE damage and explosions in a large area. The focus version reduces this AoE, but makes the sphere deal more consistent damage over time to enemies that walk into it. The last PA is Luminous Flare. This fires a continuous laser at enemies, dealing damage over time. The focus version makes the laser thinner, but more powerful. And that is it for the weapons. Overall, each weapon type itself operates differently depending on the situations present, fitting a specific role or purpose, but it doesn't look like any one weapon excels over the other, which is definitely a positive since this allows players options and flexibility on which weapon they would like to aim for first and possibly use the most. Now on to the skills for Etoile. Do note that all the details are not readily available or clear based on the gameplay demos shown during the recent PSO2 stations, so keep in mind that the values and numbers for each skill may differ, like how much damage resistance some Etoile skills may offer. Overdrive, an active skill which increases the maximum PP of everyone in your party for a limited time, while also fully healing your HP and PP upon activation. This seems to be the only active skill on Etoile based on the information presented so far. But given how Phantom and Hero don't have too many active skills of their own, it's not completely surprising that Etoile wouldn't have too many inherent skills to utilize. This skill has stock similar to the ammo of Weak Bullet on Ranger, so you can spam Overdrive as many times as you want before you run out of stocks and have to wait for cooldowns to finish. You may also notice it specifies everyone in your party. You'll be seeing this quite often, as these skills won't work for everyone in your multi-party area, or MPA for short. Only the people in your specific party will get the benefits of your skills. This means it may not be a bad idea to have multiple Etoiles in pre-made MPAs, so everyone gets the benefits of Etoile's skills. Recast Save. This skill reduces the recast times of the class skills for all of your party members. This is a huge boon for classes like Hero, Bouncer, etc. that have long cooldowns in between some of their skills, as this will allow them to spam those skills even more. This is a passive skill as well, so it doesn't require any activation or slot on your hotbar to use. Just Guard PP All. A party-wide passive buff, this restores the PP of all party members when just guarding successfully, so pretty much so long as you conduct a successful Just Guard, you restore the PP of your allies and, I'm assuming, yourself. However, I couldn't quite tell from the gameplay shown whether the skill was activating or not, so full details and specifics are not currently verified. A round made up enhances the recovery effects of items used by all members on the field. Pretty much doubles the effects of health items. Given how Etoile cannot cast Resta, this is a rather useful skill for Etoile and just in general for healing. Double Saber Skip Arts. This is the skill which enables Double Saber to use skip PAs. So long as you don't put any directional input into your PAs, you pretty much skip the first half of them and go straight to the latter half. Celestial Collide, for example, can skip the downward kicks and just immediately unleash the spear forward. Dual Blade Lock-On Chase. When locked onto the enemy, you can approach them when normal attacking. This is actually quite useful as it allows you to close larger distances, as it doesn't look like you're moving forward when you're normal attacking with dual blades otherwise. Wand Special Ability Plus. Only usable with wands. This skill uses the highest value of S attack or T attack stats from special abilities on the equipped weapon. A bit similar to Jet Boot's Switch Strike skill, but instead this just automatically chooses the higher of the stats for damage. Depending on what multipliers the wand PAs use, this may be important to distinguish exactly which stat to prioritize. Double Saber Step Slide. Using a step during a step will let you slide for a certain distance. Think of this like double jumping, but instead just double dodging, or maybe burst dodge would be the better term. Dual Blade Gear Heat Up. This skill provides a gear accumulation bonus for a limited time when using the connect or full connect features of dual blades. I don't think we saw too much of this, but we know it is used for weapon gear in enabling powerful skills like the giant sword as seen earlier. Etoile Will. This is pretty much Hero Will and Iron Will specifically for Etoile. When you take a fatal blow, survive with 1 HP and fully recover. Whether this is once per quest or if it has a cooldown will determine if this skill is actually taken on the skill tree. Hero Will can be refreshed with Hero Refresh, and Iron Will can proc multiple times, so we need to see how the skill operates before deciding whether it's worth taking. The extra point could be used for another skill that can be used more than once per quest. Double Saber Quick Take. I believe we saw a bit of this, but it was rather difficult to tell. This skill modifies the behavior of the weapon action and normal attacks of your Double Saber when you activate either action at a specific time, so think of Phantom PAs in conjunction with Shift action. Wand Focus Dash. Pretty much with this skill, you gain a boost of movement speed for a limited time when you use the focus version of your Wand PAs. This works well with Wand's mobility since by default, the movement speed can be rather slow at times based on what we saw from the gameplay. A bit of extra speed will certainly help with Wand gear as well, so it's a win-win situation. Double Saber Step Guard. When you're locked onto the enemy, a special counterattack occurs when you step forward at the time of the enemy's attack. This feels like a more instant version of the Phantom and Hero counters, since the counterattack happens while you are still dodging. I don't remember seeing this in action, but we'll probably get a clearer idea of this skill upon release. Wand Teleport. If you press and release the weapon action button, you'll move based on the directional input and attack. I don't remember seeing this in action too much since I feel it can be confused with Wand Focus Dash, but if this is a teleport like the Hero Talus teleport, then this could be good. Damage Balancer. A passive skill which greatly reduces the damage you take at the cost of reducing the effectiveness of HP recovery methods like Mates and Resta. I'm unsure how I truly feel about this skill, not because of the HP reduction, but purely the passive nature of this skill. If the damage reduction and reduced effectiveness aren't too big, then it should be fine. But if this skill affects another one which I will get to shortly, then I may not be too enticed to get this skill. However, in the latest PSO2 station, it was mentioned that this skill would be getting adjusted, and the healing reduction would be reduced and less potent while still keeping the damage reduction. Only time will tell in December the specific numbers of the skill, so come back in the future when I have an after-release Etoile video to hopefully describe more of the specifics of this skill. Same Arts PP Save. Simply put, your PP consumption is reduced when using the same PA in succession. This works well with most of the PAs on Etoile, like the Double Saber PAs, and any PAs which enable you to move around a lot and require using the same PA for optimal damage. It is also important to note this isn't a main class skill, so literally any other class can make use of this skill if the class uses the same PA constantly. Etoile mag. This converts the total attack power of the equipped mag into each type of attack. So basically you can use one of your dedicated attack mags to gain the same amount of attack for the other attack types. Etoile boost. Temporarily reduces damage each time you are attacked. As a subclass skill, this could actually be pretty good, but I don't know whether the damage is reduced upon being attacked, or if it's subsequent attacks that have reduced damage. It's the specifics that I am unsure about. So, again, we'll hopefully have more clarification in the future upon release. Tech Art Count Bonus. You gain a bonus to PAs a certain number of times when using different PAs in succession. This is the opposite of Same Art's PP save, and pretty much one half of Tech Art's Just Attack from Fighter, so this is good for classes that use different PAs often to optimize their damage output. Also good on Etoile if using PAs for dual blades, I feel. Etoile HP Restorate. When HP is under a certain threshold, you recover HP at regular intervals. This is pretty much the same skill from Summoner, and works well with keeping Etoile in the fight without needing to constantly spam healing items. However, this skill may lose effectiveness depending on how it works with Damage Balancer. Let's hope this remains unaffected. Flat Attack Bonus. Increase the damage of non-just attacks. I feel this skill is very unnecessary, as it encourages bad play from the players, since we want to just attack more often because of slightly increased attack speed, and also for a bit more consistent damage. If the power of the skill is only minor, then it's good, but I'm hoping the skill doesn't have power that rivals that of just attacking properly. This skill may be here purely because of how the guard attacks work with Etoile, but even then I'm not a big fan of how this skill works, and what it, implies. Etoile JA Bonus. And speaking of which, we have the JA bonus skill, which gives you a bonus for just attacking. Just attack properly, and you get a power boost, along with increased attack speed. Nothing else to say. Standing Massive. While standing still, you are protected from being launched or blown away by enemy attacks. I can see this skill being very useful for some PAs on Etoile, but not all of them. For example, Wand wouldn't be able to use this skill as much since you almost always want to be moving for the gear gauge, but for double sabers this is actually a pretty nice skill. This feels more like a subclass skill for classes that don't have a lot of horizontal attack movement like Ranger or possibly Braver. JA Critical. Gain a critical rate bonus when just attacking, excluding techs. The exclusion is obvious since Etoile cannot use techs, but this skill is just good because it can be used for Etoile mains and subs. But unfortunately, if you sub Etoile for a tech casting class, you won't get the bonus for just attacking techs. Now that's a lot to cover, but I'll try to simplify this whole list of specifics and into a format that is more understandable. Overall, this class is meant to be similar to Hunter, where you can be the frontline fighter for the party, but it also has the skill set and mechanics to play a support role that doesn't outdo Tekker. While I see Tekker as the standard for general power support and tools to status enemies for more support, Etoile focuses on enhancing not the power, but the skills of its allies so they can use their personal kit more efficiently. For example, the recast save skill doesn't necessarily boost the raw damage output of Hero like Tekker does, but it does help Hero activate its skills like Hero Refresh sooner so it can remain in top shape for longer periods of time, because otherwise it takes longer for Hero to deal huge burst damage and deal reliable damage due to Hero Boost. Not only does Etoile have the supportive skills for its allies, it also has the combat mechanics for solo viability in a ton of quests like Hero and Phantom. Being able to repeatedly guard is extremely useful, and it has the mobility to properly navigate combat even when it plays alone. With Etoile, the movements feel smooth, the actions feel natural, and nothing at me screams overpowered because of how the mechanics for the class work. In conclusion, if you prefer more offensive support-based classes or roles from other video games, or if you prefer the playstyle of the class similar to Red Mage from Final Fantasy XIV or Dark Knight from Black Desert Online, this class is right up your alley. I hope this video helped you greatly in understanding Etoile a bit more and giving you ideas on how to prepare for the release of Etoile in December. Please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this if you're interested and want to possibly see other useful guides in the future, and I will talk to you all later.